I bring to you good tidings. You know, like they said there's time for mourning, there's time for grief, and of course, there's time for us to count our victories. Some months ago, or shall I say some week ago, I brought to you about the Zamfara vigilante groups who were killed by the Nigerian armed forces. You can see the link right there. Who were killed by the Nigerian armed forces. Air Force to be particular. These vigilante groups who were chasing Fulani bandits were pied some months ago. But just some hours ago, just yesterday, being Wednesday, this group of vigilantes in Zamfara, which comprises more of Hausa people, okay? I could remember when this vigilante group was supposed to be formed because they called them the local security groups. Most of the Fulani youths were objecting. Like they opted out. They said they were not going to be a part of it. Right? They felt like, okay, even if they catch these troops, these vigilante will not give them a chance to be rehabilitated. The good news is yesterday, these groups, they caught the two most feared. When I mean feared, the most notorious, the most brutal. These are guys who have taken over almost 90% of Zamfara. Right? Yesterday, not the Nigerian army, not the Nigerian Air Force, not the Nigerian police, just local vigilantes that comprises of the Hausas largely, okay? About 95% of them are Hausa people in that vigilante group were able, even with their own guns, which is not as sophisticated as the army's weapons and all that, to take down two principal terrorists. One was killed instantly, the other one was killed and was actually beheaded. You can see the image right there on my screen. You see, it is crazy. This is the reason why you see that the likes of Buhari, okay, and why the senators in the Senate building, in the National Assembly, we know that they not have more representative, right? This is why they are always against having our local police being enforced. They know that if the local police, something like the ESN, something like the Amotekun, something like this one in Zanfara, that if the Nigerian constitution can, for all it worth, guarantee that these guys can carry and every form of weapons to match up with these Fulani headers who are terrorizing everybody, these Fulani bandits, the terrorists, okay? They know that there will not be an iota of insecurity across the country anymore. So, what is the game plan? The game plan is let us hold them in politics, then let us hold them in the security aspect as well. Within security, we can ensure they don't go to farm. We can ensure we put fear into them, even when they want to disrupt us or displace us in politics. If the insecurity is not working in the politics sector, we will usurp their powers, rig them out, because we are more. And yes, we are the majority, and this is a fast democracy. It is expected that the majority will always have its way. So this is these are the tactics, right? And it's playing right before us. It is really, really an eye opener event that happened in Zamfara. It is a serious eye opener. Listen, a vigilante group that comprises of less than 5% of Fulani extraction, right? They were successfully able to catch, curb, and of course, unalive the two most feared Fulani bandits in Zamfara. Some weeks ago, this same bodies of vigilante who were on the verge of chasing these same guys were initially gunned down by Nigerian Air Force, but they didn't back down. They said they will not. You see, open your eyes, my people. Open your eyes. You think if Amotekun in the southwest, right? If they have access to AK-47, they don't even need more than that. AK-47 is more than enough. If they have access to AK-47, they know, even with the pump action that they have now, they are still what? denting heavy blows on these Fulani marauding herders that have illegally taken over the forest in the southwest. Now imagine the federal government approves of them, give them AK-47. Look at what is happening in Benue. In Benue, before the Yellow Tower attack, some Benue youth movement who are against this uh, dis- indiscriminate open grazing, wherein they just take their cows into people's farm, they were actually apprehended. As I mean, with just then guns, they were able to apprehend and, of course, to contain the excesses of these herders. But then the Nigerian army was the one that arrested the youth. They arrested the youth, and in less than a week, we heard about an attack, a gruesome and a brutal one that took the life of not less than 200 in Benue. Okay? Another issue happened in Eyamufu. Another one happened in Edo State. Right? People are saying, give us the access for our local vigilantes. I will go and join a local vigilante. If I do not join, I will sponsor financially. And I am told them sure that there are so many diasporans that will sponsor. About the fund that they won't be able to fund it. You see, these are the rhetorics they give you. They cook up these lies so that that's your passion, your need to push, and then they just water it down. They make you feel like, oh, the federal government, the state government will not afford it. They won't be able to pay salaries. Listen and listen good. The job of the federal government is to ensure that every nooks and cranny of the state is actually existing as a federating unit. And they can only exist in a complete and a functional federation unit if they have a sustainable and an enduring security. It is sure and apparent that this unitary form of policing, Nigerian armed forces, cannot work, right? Because one, the Nigerian people will not look at an Hausa police that came into a Yoruba land and they start asking questions. Nobody will trust them. That's one. Or a Nigerian army who has who's from the north right away. Maybe it's an Hausa man, maybe it's a Fulani guy who, however, is in the Nigerian army, but you could recognize him because of his facial marks or because of his tongues and all that. And they came in, they said they are looking for someone or they are looking for a place, and you've heard, but because of the historical fact that you know about the wars that has happened, about the dichotomy between the north and the south, you just look at them and you just like, well, I don't know. You won't even if you know where the terrorists are hiding, you will feel, after all, the terrorists are my tribesmen. Why should I bother myself? But if there are local policing, let's say for instance there's state policing, the job of these local vigilantes would be taken over the very moment we start having state police. Because it is the same local vigilante that would, those personnel that will be enrolled to work as what? State police or local government police. We might not even need local government police. If you have state police, all you just have is local, I mean, those police will be, of course, they'll be distributed across the local government. All right, in line with the environment. I know if I am from Oyo State, I will know, or Ibadan, I will know so many places in Oyo than the normal guy who didn't grow up in Oyo, who has never heard about the word Oyo, who is a man from Benue State. I know that I will know more. Likewise, a Benue guy who grew up in Benue, who is a Benue guy, doesn't matter if he lived in Makodi, it doesn't matter if he lived in Yeleta, it doesn't matter if he lived in Agatu, but he is a Benue man, right? He will know Benue because he will understand the cultural landscape. He will understand the body language of his people. He won't be able to immediately decipher when things go wrong than I, myself, coming from Oyo State. So when I said that, yes, there are moments to grieve, there are moments to cry, but indeed I am happy that the local vigilantes were able to actually unalive these two guys. These Fulani marauders, two of them, the bandits, terrorists, They were actually all alive, right? They were, one was beheaded, the other one by just local vigilantes. It is just an eye opener for me. I saw a video that I know that God, if ESN is functional, if ESN as of today is recognized by the federal government, and not just recognized, are being, you know, fully and optimally equipped with weapons that they need to defend their people, right? And of course, they are being paid well. I am telling you, this video that I'm seeing right now, this nonsense wouldn't have happened. Let's watch the video together.
Our people. Ladies, Ulu le wanu kemsi mbulu nya bladan. Rehia. Ulu rehia kemsi de kumbo makalo se chila. Ulu hem de ku.
Do you see the guy over there on a woman, this poor woman who probably this is the only place she's able to fend for her family? Just look at her rolling on the floor, helpless. There's absolutely nothing she could do. What breaks my heart even more is beyond the woman, the men who are there, they don't even dare get closer to that guy. The header is there like saying, Papa get that farmland. He's there with over 100 cattle. This happened in Imo State. Isn't it crazy? Is it not crazy? Like, you came in all the way. I don't even, I definitely, there's no connection between the Fulani and the Imolites. No connection. The only thing that connects them is this contraption, whereby they believe they can move their cows with every free access without any form of encumbrances. You can move from north to west, to east, to south. He has stormed that woman's farmland, which she sweated for, shed a lot of blood for, to till, to cultivate, took his cow there to just consume every of our farm produce. I mean, just look at it. Imagine we now have the ESN, the local police of Imo State, and the government of Imo has said we are banning open grazing. You won't dare. Now you know why. You see why perfectly well that in that Senate, right? Why they are doing everything to ensure that the local policing system is not passed. Because they know that every shenanigans, all the atrocities they commit, most especially through their machineries, their foot soldiers, which are likely these Fulani hiders, that it will be contained immediately. I'm telling you, they know that the very moment it is approved by a president. Well, I don't know if Tinubu will have that courage, but I hope it does. That very moment that bill is signed, that every state now has every right to create its own local police, of course, which will be a subject, or which will be subjected to the federal police, right? They will be like a subset to the federal police. However, this local police or this state police have right to own rifles. That they know that very moment it is done. They know that very moment that their influence will not exceed the core north. It won't even get into the middle belt. Because the Benue people will tell you the Benue local police will not have one single Fulani man there. I'm telling you. They will tell you that the Benue police will only have aborigines. They will tell you in Plateau that the Plateau police, local police, will only have aborigines. I'm telling you. Of course, the Oyo state will be the same. We're talking about the Abia state. With the Abia state now, set up Abia state police and say that, now this Balarabe I won't have there. And you think that's going to happen? We are still going to have this nonsense? Of course not. It's not going to happen. And this is why they are so much against it. This is why they've positioned themselves like it's never gonna pass. I don't know how people know that this will bring so-called, will guarantee security, but they have stood right at the gate of its approval that no, this will not pass. This is not going to happen. Not under our watch. Of course, it's because of their own selfish political interests that they have on this nation. They know that the very moment all these things start happening, you shouldn't decentralize the police. Don't decentralize the Nigerian army. Don't decentralize the Nigerian immigration. Do not decentralize the quota system or the meritocracy level of education. They know. So this is how they've held us. In that, I've said it that one Nigeria is a chain on every normal human being that seeks or that wants progress. I'm telling you, that toga, one Nigeria, because it is one Nigeria that will tell you that let us respect quotarization ahead of meritocracy. Is that one Nigerian sister that will tell you let us respect federal character above meritocracy? It is that one Nigerian that will tell you that that it doesn't matter if he's so much educated. If provided he just have his first school leaving certificate, he can be a president. You see? You see the nonsense, right? You see the nonsense. It's unfortunate.
Una hona him di concerning our people. They did the mebunde kani. Ebuka bewa.